Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for yet another Premier League match preview as we, Chelsea, are taking on Sheffield United at Bramall Lane tomorrow evening on Sunday evening. And as you can see on screen, I am not by myself. I'm joined by two new guests to the channel, which is always incredibly exciting. First and foremost, of course, both of these guys are part of the Chelsea Social alongside Jay. And I'm not sure, is there anyone else involved, or is it just you three?
Mainly us three. There are other people involved, but it's mainly us three.
Exactly. So we are joined by Jam. Of course, he just answered your question. The links to all of these guys are down in the description, whether it's their Twitters and, of course, like I said, their Chelsea Social YouTube channel. So subscribe to them. They're very close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. So definitely head over there, subscribe to them right now. Help them hit 1K subs. It's a big milestone, you know. It sounds small, but hey, at the start, trust me, I know the grind. At the start, it's a big one. It's a big one. So subscribe to them. And, of course, by the man himself, by the Swedish Don himself. We could say he's better than Ibrahimovic. But, Ajay, how you doing, bro?
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm really good. I have a stressful day, but yeah, I'm here now and everything is calm. So yeah, I'm excited to this. You know, I used to watch you like years back when Cesar was here. So I'm really happy to be here, actually.
Well, I appreciate it. And like I said to you on Twitter already, I enjoyed the Sarri time, other than when we got battered by City and Bournemouth. I had a great time. I won't lie. We have the member Jester's Vengeance in the chat again. I will answer that question in just a second. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here right now or watching this later on as a video, make sure to subscribe. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Like I said already, subscribe to these guys. Follow them on Twitter. And if you want to become a member, the join button is underneath. And, hey, if you have anything to add that you really want me to read out and talk about, don't hesitate to use the Super Chat function. But I guess that's a good place to start, isn't it? Because there wasn't a proper pre-match press conference. We just had like a bit of an embargoed part after the Spurs game ahead of this one. And Jester's question is, does anyone know if Havertz or Zuma are available? Now, Football London today came out with the news that both of them are back in full training, so presumably available. Whether that means available to start or not is maybe a different question, but being in full training sure does suggest that they will be available to feature in the game at least. But like the title suggests, like, you know, my tweets or whatever, wherever you've come from, and the thumbnail as well suggests, you know, we've been brilliant under Thomas Tuchel so far. 3 consecutive clean sheets, the first Premier League manager at Chelsea. I'm not sure even since Jose that had 3 consecutive clean sheets in his first 3 games. You know, we have 7 out of 9 points, beat Tottenham, finally beat a top 6 team. I guess his next task and his biggest task is now to get a bloody forward scoring because we've scored 3 goals, but none of them have been of any of the forwards. It's been Azpilicueta, Alonso and Jorginho from the penalty spot. So that's what we need to get going. And guys, of course, Sheffield United is not an easy opponent because the form is actually quite good because they're finally starting to pick up some wins, but they're still bottom of the league. So, of course, we are going into this as the massive favourites, and we should win, especially considering even under Frank Lampard, we absolutely battered them. And in my opinion, that was probably our best and most fun to watch performance of the season. Maybe you could argue the Leeds one, but I thought that was the one where I was starting to get hyped. You know, wrongly, I was starting to get hyped. I was like, wait, could we be fighting for the title here? But boys, so first of all, let me just quickly get a rundown from you for Thomas Tuchel's time in charge so far, and then we'll get on to talking about Sheffield United. Jan, why don't you go first?
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel looks good, doesn't he? Do you know what I like about him? It's the energy. You just look at the sideline, you just see him bouncing around. He's not really standing still. You know, he's always agitated. He's always, you know, showing his emotions. Wait, I can hear some feedback there. Someone got the video on.
Is it mine? Wait, let me mute myself.
I think it's gone now. Yeah. Yeah. So he's always showing his emotions. And I think just if you put it like this, you work at a place and you've got your boss in the background doing funny faces or like gesturing, that's going to get you up and going. Do you know what I mean? As a member of staff, you're going to start playing. So if you look at the team, I think they're feeding off that energy. It kind of gives me Conte vibes a little bit. And what I must say is one criticism I had with Frank was the fact that you'd always look at the sideline and he'll just be there like this. You know, maybe when we score, he'd be like, yes. I love Frank, but I've just got to say that's one thing that I think Tuchel's really come in and changed. I love how charismatic he is. He's really good with the media. He's handled them very well. And there's just an air of confidence that kind of exudes from him. And I think that's infectious too. So, you know, to start with, he sorted out the defence, 3 clean sheets in a row. That's, I can't remember. I think the last time we got that was like 2017, you know. I mean, what? That is absolutely incredible. So he's come in and sorted out a problem, which was we were conceding too many goals. We're just far too easy to get in against. And, you know, with the change in formation, he's got cover for everyone on the pitch, which is why someone like Marcos Alonso can play. But so far, so good for Tuchel. Chelsea have looked pretty hot in the last few games. But as you said, Laurenz, it's the attack that needs to function now. It's almost like, I said it on the stream yesterday, it's like you've got the body of a Ferrari and the engine of a 1960s Mini Cooper or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, they've got to start firing. They've got to get sharp, and confidence will come when they start bagging goals. But so far, so good.
Exactly. And Hajir, what about yourself? I think all of us share pretty similar thoughts, but, you know, maybe you don't. You know, let us know, enlighten us.
I mean, I'm excited. That's all I'm gonna say, pretty much. Yeah, I'm really excited because you can see so many things if you actually take time after the games and not analyze the full game, but just bits and parts on like videos and stuff. You can see how he has implemented some sort of system and tactics. The movement, for example, there is a reason why Mason Mount is playing that high up on the field at the moment. It's because his movement opened up space, and I think that in the future, I don't know. This is the thing too, yeah. He plays a 3 at the back now, which I don't see as long-term plan. I think he's just doing that to just sort things out, and I love that because I think that he obviously wants top 4, but there is something that tells me that he wants top 4 more than that because he could easily just implement his system how you want to play in the future, get like 5th or 6th, and people would still be like, it's not his fault. But I think that he really, really wants to achieve top 4, and that is why he uses his 3 at the back now. So we can sort things out defensively properly because teams don't shoot against us anymore, you know. Teams don't shoot. They don't shoot since he's coming. I think we have like 1 or maybe 2. I don't even know if it's 1 or 2 shots on target. I think one of them more offside, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, he's really trying to sort the defensive part out. And about the striker thing Jam talks about, I'm not worried at all because Timo Werner already looks better. I know that Tammy and Giroud haven't looked great when they have played under his time, but just give them time. Just give him time. If Timo keeps playing like this, he's gonna bag soon. So yeah, I'm not worried at all. I'm just really excited. I can't lie.
Exactly, and I guess that brings us on to talking about the next game and just this question: how much rotation will we see in the squad? And I do agree that the forwards will certainly start scoring. I'm not as hyped by Timo Werner under Tuchel as some others have been because I'm like, yeah, okay, he runs a bit more, he presses a bit harder. But I feel like he had all of these chances under Frank as well. So I don't, maybe not the last few weeks, right? Fair enough. But it's not like this was never here. And then he has that moment where Serge Aurier attacks us, and I'm like, bro, just control it with your left foot, please. For goodness sake, you have a left foot. I'm not sure if we only bought one of his legs and the other one's left in Leipzig, and hence why we only paid 50 million. I don't think so. So and I've said this multiple times before, and before people get at me again, the only reason why I'm so critical and so harsh on Werner is because I know how good he can be. If I didn't expect more from him, I wouldn't be harsh. Like, that's a little bit where it comes from. Like, as much as I criticize Giroud, it's like I criticize him for different kind of things. I criticize Giroud because it triggers me when people claim he's like basically the new coming of Drogba. That's when it triggers me a little bit. He's not that good, right? He's decent, but he ain't that good, right? So that's when I start criticizing Giroud, really. But at the same time, when he doesn't do the best thing or when he doesn't get to the end of the ball, I'm like, well, you can't blame Giroud for that. It's not his fault he's slow. So that's kind of where all of my thoughts on, you know, the forwards come from. But I definitely think all of them will come good, and I bloody hope so. But again, back to the question, how much will we rotate against Sheffield United? And I guess that will be the question. Of course, our game after that is against Barnsley in the FA Cup. So you could argue maybe we don't really need that much rotation for this one if they're fit now. Because obviously we already had one injury picked up in Thiago Silva in the last game. So we have to make sure that we don't pick up more, especially in defensive areas. We only have 3 centre-backs left, plus Aspi. I guess now we have 4 back now with Zuma being back. But still, you know, we have to make sure we don't pick up any more injuries because at some point we might end up in a situation like Liverpool. And we definitely don't want that, considering now the transfer window is shut. So I guess that is the question. And I guess that's the first question I'm going to put to you guys. First of all, do you think he will change the system, because isn't Sheffield United probably one of the best spots to try afford the back out? I know they play 3 themselves. I get that. But, you know, if you're going to find one to like trial it out against, other than maybe Barnsley, Sheffield United might be the one for that, whether he goes for a 4-2-2-2 or 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever. Will that be the game where he tries it? Or is it like Hajia said earlier, he'll just make sure that we keep that, you know, clean sheet consistently. And at some point, he's confident that with his training and confidence rising, we will get goals. And why don't I go first with you, Hajir, as I just said your name anyway?
Yeah, we actually talked about this yesterday on our stream, on our channel, and I wanted to change it up because sure we can change it up against what's their name, Barnsley, but if we change that against Sheffield United, even though they are pretty much the worst team in the league, it's still levels above. So if we can change system, use different tactics, and it still works, that shows an improvement. But both Jam and what's his name, Jay, they didn't expect that, and to be honest, I don't expect that either. I think that he's gonna play the 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, whatever. Yeah, but to be fair, I think he may actually rotate in this game. Well, some part of me thinks that, some part doesn't. He could play the same team. Why would he change it and just rest someplace for Barnsley? Or he could actually change it to like the team I had against Burnley. When we had the 2-striker formation. Because I know I'm biased to Tammy and everything, but still, I mean that Tammy seems like a player he still would want to use. Like, look at Choupo-Moting. He brought him to PSG, and I mean he's in the best play, but still. So he did that because he has some kind of hold-up play, and he's still mobile. And so is Tammy. Tammy's hold-up play will just improve. His game will improve drastically with time, and he has shown that he improves fast. So I think that Tammy is a part of his plan, and I think that he has said that he knows that Timo Werner is better in the striker partnership. So I think that his long-term plan is to play a striker next to Werner, and I think that is Tammy. So maybe this is a good time for them to get to know each other better under him as a manager. But if I'm gonna be 100% real, I just got a feeling that it will be the exact same team against Tottenham, but maybe Christensen, Zuma playing instead of Thiago Silva.
Fair enough. We also have another interesting thought here, that part of the reason why we're playing 3 at the back is that almost all of our centre-backs are better in that system. I think the centre-backs that we're playing, in Aspi, obviously he wouldn't be a centre-back otherwise, and really good. Yes, I think Zuma is actually better in a 2 than he is in a 3, and I don't think for Thiago it matters much, quite frankly. But yeah, I mean, first of all, I totally back the Tammy hype. Big fan of Tammy. You know, maybe not always on ability. I rate his ability, but I just like the guy, you know? So why can't I hype people that I like, right? Who's telling me that I'm not allowed to do that? So I'm just going to do that. The only thing I will say is, of course, against Spurs, as much as on paper it looked like a 3-4-3, I would have argued, and kind of they like Mount and Tuchel hinted on it themselves, the fact that it was actually more of a 3-4-1-2 anyway, with kind of Mount as that mix of a false 9 and a 10, while Werner and Hudson-Odoi played as kind of like wide strikers, if you will. So that's the question. I do think that Werner won't really play as a sole striker much under Tuchel. The one thing we don't know is, will he pair him with a Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi regularly, or will he put a proper out-and-out striker like Tammy or Giroud next to him quite often? I guess that's what we'll have to wait and find out. But what about yourself, Jam? What do you make of, say, the rough formation that we might use against Sheffield United tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we're going to keep it the same. I don't see the point of changing it, because Sheffield United, yes, they might be lagging at the bottom of the league, but actually when you look a little bit deeper into it, and I know you have to take this with a pinch of salt, but they're underperforming their expected points by something ridiculous, like 10 points or so. They're still a decent team. They know exactly what they're doing. They're very well drilled. They, like you said as well, they also play a 3-5-2. So I just have nightmares of thinking back to that game last season at their place. Oh my God. I do not want to see that again, where we failed to match up to them. And by the time we did, it was too late. If you guys remember that, I think we were 2-0 down. We changed it to 3 at the back ourselves, and then they scored the 3rd goal, and that was game over, lights out. So I think we need to respect them a little bit. I think we just stay with what's working for us, keep that clean sheet, hopefully, and a goal will come against a team that hasn't been the best defensively. But keep it the same and rotate some of the players, perhaps. You know, Chilwell could get a start here. In fact, he probably should. Pulisic instead of Cho, give him some fresh legs. And yeah, maybe one of the strikers could change, throw Tammy in. I don't know what it is, but I don't see Giroud starting under Tuchel for now. Anyway, I just have a gut feeling. I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but I just have that gut feeling. So perhaps even Kante, but I'm still 50-50 on that. He didn't look sharp the other day, so perhaps he's better, coming off the bench and getting 30 minutes. But keep the formation the same. It's fluid as hell anyway. So, it ends up changing all the time because it's just so fluid. So, yeah, I just want that cover in defence. That's the main thing that worries me against a team like Sheffield United, who are very awkward to defend against as it is, with all their overlapping centre-backs and madness happening. So, yeah, respect them, keep it the same, and I think we can win this game anyway.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. Stick to the 3, even though I myself, like Haji, I'm not a fan of the 3. Even though obviously we have it in our brains more like suffer ball on Antonio Conte than the way, Thomas Tuchel, of course, uses it. But I'm still not the biggest fan of it, especially against certain teams. I'm like, there's no need for us to have 3 centre-backs on the pitch. But like you said, keep it like that now. The players are comfortable with it. Plus, and the biggest reason for me saying this, because if Thiago Silva was fit, I might say use the 4 now, try it out. But because Thiago's out injured, Thiago Silva, that's why I would mainly stick to the 3. Christensen is significantly better in a back 3, and whether it's Zuma or Rudiger or whoever, yes, especially Zuma has had a really good season, but he's also had Thiago Silva next to him, which was part of the reason why he's had a really good season. So that's why I would stick to the 3 and agree with what Jam said. We'll rotate a few players, like I said, or like you said, bring Chilwell in is a good shout in my opinion. I would assume Kante comes in, probably for Kovacic, just presumably that, first of all, Jorginho runs a bit less, meaning he's probably less tired anyway. And also maybe it's just because he doesn't run that fast. I don't know. But, obviously he had very good performances, and to keep control of things, he's done really well in the last 2 games. I'm not sure what your two's general opinions on him are, but I don't think anyone can disagree with the fact that they're both that he was brilliant against Burnley and Tottenham. I would actually presume that he will put Hudson-Odoi back at right wing back, because he took him off with quite a bit of time left against Spurs, and it is not quite as good of a team in Sheffield United, so probably go back to that, I would assume. And then, yeah, I think the fact that Pulisic hasn't had a start yet is a bit crazy, so I think he absolutely has to start, regardless of whether we play a 3-4-3 or 3-4-1-2, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I'd go for. And then the Werner Tammy one is a tricky one, because I've been caught in so many different minds with Timo Werner. Do we just play him through it until it clicks? Do we leave him out to help him make it click? I don't know. I haven't really fully decided, to be honest, because yes, there are certain good things that Werner gives us that none of our other strikers give us. Although I have also thought, I'm not sure if I'm the only one, that he's looked a bit slow in the last few games, compared to what we remember him as Leipzig, where he just stormed past bloody everybody. And now it just feels like he never goes full speed. I don't know if he's carrying a small muscle niggle and he's a bit scared of it or something, but I don't really see him going full burner. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one here, but hey, we'll have to see. Haji, what do you think? What do you think about the kind of suggested rotational pieces, I guess, that I just put out there? Would you agree with them, or would you have different thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Yeah, I just want to win. I really want top 4. I really, really want one top 4. And these games against Sheffield United, even though they are easy on paper, it's still a hard game. Especially as what Jam talked about earlier, the game we played in the summer. They literally, I remember that, I remember they ruined my day, and we have guests and everything over at my parents' house. So yeah, it was just dead, really. Ruined my evening and everything. So I don't want to experience that again. So yeah, I agree. As you said, I think that Hudson-Odoi will play at the right wing position. But what do you do with James? With that, what's his name? Reece James, though, because he was so good against Spurs. I don't know. There's one thing with James I love. It's when you pin the ball from the other one side of the pitch to him. He just jump, takes it down on the chest, and brings it down. That is so satisfying to watch, and he does that consistently during the game. It's not once in a while. He does it every single game. I don't know. That just because of that, I want to see him play. Because he brings so much quality to it, brings physicality to our team, which we lack seriously from the midfield area to the forwards area, especially with Giroud and Tammy in our midfield. Jorginho isn't some kind of bodybuilder, if you know what I mean. He is like the smallest player in the Premier League, pretty much. Yeah. So I mean, he brings physicality too. So that hence why I want to see him play. But sure, he could play at the right centre back position, but he won't drop Aspi. So I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what he has in thoughts. I just want to win. That's the thing. I just want to win. I don't care if you start Christensen and Rüdiger and Kepa in goal. I don't care really. I just want to win. So as long as he gets everything right, I'm calm. But yeah, I think that he will play the likes of Hudson-Odoi on the right. And I actually don't think he would change the midfield. I think he will go with the same midfield.
Fair. Another interesting one that I guess we should maybe touch on. Of course, the Reece James one is a tricky one. I still think until we don't use a 4, I don't think Reece James will be a super regular starter. And I get people saying play him at right centre back and whatever, and I'm sure he can do that. But that will be a learning curve for Reece James as well. He hasn't played that before. So to just put him in there and expect him to be brilliant just because we know what ability he has, it don't really work like that. Plus, as much as I love Reece James and I think he's one of the best right backs in the league, he's not a better right centre back than Azpilicueta is. Like, right centre back is the best position for Azpilicueta, and he's actually really, really good there. People seem to undercredit him a little bit for that. So I think until we change to a back four rather, I don't think Reece James will be a regular starter, which is one of the reasons why I do want us to change to a back four. But I guess the other player I guess we should touch on is probably Hakim Ziyech, who hasn't really had a lot of game time under Thomas Tuchel. Of course, he started against against Wolves, but didn't look that great. Not that he was awful, but he didn't look that great. And when he was replaced by Mason Mount looked a lot better even in that game than Hakim Ziyech did. Then, of course, he was left out against Burnley, with Thomas Tuchel saying he's been overworked, overplayed, over whatever in the last 5 weeks, and then he has tendencies to get injured. He was on the bench against Tottenham, but didn't come on. So him and Pulisic, I would kind of think will start. I wouldn't be totally surprised if Werner gets a bit of a rest as well, to have a front three of Pulisic, Ziyech, and Tammy maybe. Unless Werner stays in there, who knows? And Ziyech kind of drops a bit into a 10 role. Even though I don't think Mason Mount should be dropped, but I think Thomas Tuchel still wants to see a bit more of certain players rather than sticking with the exact same team, especially within the front three. As much as Mason Mount has been absolutely incredible at linking things up and creating space with his movement, also his final shot or his final pass or his final decision-making hasn't been quite on it. As much as he was still... in my opinion, second man of the match behind Jorginho against Spurs. So obviously, officially, he was given it. But I just thought all of the jobs Jorginho was given, he did them perfectly well. Mason Mount did some of his jobs incredibly well, even better than Jorginho did any of his. But then some of his job, he didn't do that well. Otherwise, he would have scored more. So I guess that is something that you should take into consideration. But Jam, what do you make of the Hakim Ziyech situation? And do you think he should and will start tomorrow?
Do you know what? Yeah, Ziyech can definitely start tomorrow. I mean, I see what you're saying about taking off Mount and, changing it around. Well, Tuchel wanted to rotate and see what works best in the front three. The only thing is, Sheffield United, their midfield's quite industrious. And I think that might actually suit Mount playing, because I think he's quite good at combating against stuff like that. Obviously, he's quite industrious himself. So it's a little bit tough, because I'm not saying Ziyech doesn't run, but obviously comparing him to the Duracell bunny, Mason Mount, it's a bit peak in that sense. So I would like to see Ziyech play. I'd like to see Pulisic play. I'd like to see them both start. But I just don't know if Tuchel will do that. I'm really unsure. I mean, Ziyech, he hasn't been on it for a little while. I mean, I think he struggled since he's come back from that little injury he had. Was it his hamstring? It was his hamstring, wasn't it, that went? I think this was like, it was like... I think
it might have been a groin thing, actually, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, so it's something like that. He hasn't really hit the heights that he hit prior to that. So, I like the fact that Tuchel's actually come in and said, look, we're just going to rest him a little bit. And he's benched him for a little while. Hopefully we see the best of him soon. Hopefully he's fresh for some of the big games that we got coming up. With regards to this game, if I were Tuchel, I wouldn't play him. I would start Pulisic, Tammy, and Mount. That's what I would go for if I had to put my neck on the line. Mount, just like I said, just because he's industrious and it's going to suit playing against Sheffield United. I don't think Ziyech will be able to do, pull that level of work rate up. So, yeah, I would say, unfortunately, he's on the bench again, but definitely bring him on in this game, 100%.
For sure. The thing with Hakim Ziyech is just he is probably the most likely player to unlock deep blocks. Of course, our problem hasn't really been unlocking them under Tuchel. Our problem has been converting the chances that we have created. But another one that we haven't even touched on yet, again, just as in the chat, big up yourself, Havertz. What about Kai Havertz? Of course, he was out injured for the last one, and presumably he probably won't start this one and probably start against Barnsley or Newcastle or both, who knows. But just because he's coming back from injury, I don't expect him to start this one. But honestly, when we don't have any injuries within these forwards, the amount of selection headaches our manager has is honestly crazy. Like, how can you pick between all of these players? And that's even presuming, all right, Giroud is just a backup option when we need him. You still have Tammy, Werner, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi if you don't want to play him as a right wing back, Kai Havertz, Ziyech, and as long as Mason Mount keeps playing as part of the front three, you have him in there as well. Like, bloody hell, how many more players do we want for the same position? It's crazy. We're just, again, coming back to it, why I think eventually we will play a 4 just to fit a couple more midfielders in, because that's when we have way too many players in a weird way. Obviously, only if Tuchel thinks that will actually get us wins. But, Haji, what do you think about Ziyech and I guess Havertz as well? Not just for this one game in specific where we all presume, I guess he will come off the bench if anything, but going forward, I guess.
Well, I've always said that I thought that Hakim Ziyech is going to be our Angel Di Maria. He's pretty similar as a player, both left-footed, barely used the right foot. And I thought that Tuchel would really like him and use him like a Di Maria, but he hasn't. And apparently they had some issues personally in training and stuff. And this is the thing, yeah.
I haven't heard that yet.
Right, Jam. I think they have. I've read about that on Twitter, yeah. So this is the thing, yeah. There's so much competition there. So even if you're a star, if you keep acting like that, then you won't play, because there are players that can play, that can do a job perfectly. So that's that, yeah. I mean, he just needs to have his mind right, yeah. Keep working hard. If we get the chance, and then we prove that he's a good player for us. So that's about that. And about Kai Havertz, yeah. This is the thing, yeah. Apparently Lampard didn't want these players after he got sacked, and it kind of makes sense, because it feels like the board does board player without actually thinking through the whole thing. Because how are you going to play a 2-striker formation with the number 10 behind and still have wingers? It's not FIFA. You can't do it like that, yeah? And if you want to get the best out of Werner, you need to have him next to striker. And if you want to get the best out of Havertz, you need to play him behind the striker. So that's something, yeah. And when he plays together with Hakim Ziyech, both operate on the same space. So they don't click. And for that to click, you need to have a system basically that allows them to get their own space. So that's hard. So, I mean, I could see Kai Havertz be a big part in a 4-2-2 formation, where he plays like inverted right winger, AM, whatever you want to call it. And then you have Hudson on the other side, and Tammy Haaland, or wherever you have with Werner. I think that's the way.
Man's dreaming big.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking of the future. Yeah, I think we can get Haaland because he's Chelsea. Yeah. And it's not, they will live in London and everything. So that's that. But the thing is, but if you want to do that, then you need to have you need to have proper midfielders. With all due respect to Jorginho and Kovacic, you can't play a 4-2-2 with them to hold in the midfield. Not together.
Depends on the opponent, I reckon.
Yeah. But if this is the thing, yeah. And I have some standards, yeah. I'm not satisfied with top 4. I grew up from watching Chelsea, winning things every single year, yeah. I'm spoiled as a Chelsea fan, and I want to keep it that way. That's the thing. With these two in midfield, you won't win the big trophies. I need to be real. You won't win the big trophies with these two in midfield. You think you're going to come up against Kimmich and Goretzka, and they're going to be scared of these in midfield? Hey. No. What's up, Lewis, man?
Yeah, guys, what are you saying? You good?
Archive himself.
Am I on mute? All right, cool. No, okay, good.
No, we can hear.
What's everyone saying?
We can hear. Yeah, we're just talking through a bit of future. You know, what do we do with Ziyech, Havertz? What do we do with all these bloody players? That's what Haji is just going through. But continue your point, bro. Yeah. Continue your point.
Yeah, I was gonna finish. Yeah. So I mean, to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of them two together. But if they can keep do the job they get against Spurs consistently, then we're gonna get top 4, and they may actually play a part of our future, even though I think that Tuchel still want that proper, strong, physical DM. But still, yeah. So, I mean, it really depends. I mean, when you have that 3 at the back, they have a little bit more protection, so they won't get as defensively exposed. But yeah, and about Kovacic, yeah, I rate Kovacic. And when a difference with Kovacic in that game was when he actually dribbled past a couple of players, he didn't pass the ball sideways. He passed the ball forward. And that's my problem with him. When you actually beat so many players, and that's so hard, by the way, and then you pass it sideways, it's so frustrating because all that work just goes out the window. But against Spurs, he passed the ball forward, and you can see the difference. If Kova can do that consistently, he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the world. It's just the consistent part he needs to add to his game. Same with Jorginho too. He was so calm, played the ball forward. If these two can do that, then yeah, who knows? I know I did like kind of let out from the question now. But still, yeah. But yeah, I mean, as I said, to fit Havertz and Ziyech in the same team with Werner and to get the best out of Werner, I think it's hard. So I think that what's his name? I think that Ziyech's future may be darker than we actually think. But yeah, who knows?
It's a tricky one. It's definitely difficult. Like you touched on already. With Frank didn't want these players. I think didn't want them is maybe not the right word. I think didn't ask for them specifically, but rather than having an issue with signing, obviously talents like they are, specifically obviously Kai Havertz. I find it interesting though that you would have put Kai as the right AM or whatever. My idea in the 4-2-2, as you touched on it, I think Kai would be brilliant as a backup to Timo. And then kind of play them as a front two, where Kai can drop in to play a 10. And then when Timo drifts to the left, Kai can go up and play like the bit of a focal point, the taller guy. I think that would work well. And then you can make the decision, do you want Ziyech on the right, a bit like you touched on with the Di Maria situation, or you play on both wings, Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi. I think that's our best way of fitting everybody in. And then once we have a more physical, proper DM, you can play Mason Mount next to him in the double pivot. Whether that's or Kovacic, realistically, as much as Jorginho has been brilliant so far, but once we get a proper physical DM that can do the physical stuff plus the defensive stuff, I think that will probably slowly phase out Jorginho. And then that allows you to play Mason Mount in that role. I touched on this with Alex Goldberg yesterday. The fact that Mason Mount this season has played as a 6, an 8, a 10, and a bloody false 9 is ridiculous. And the left wing, and let's not forget, as much as he wasn't great there, still, the man's played 5 different positions, and in 4 of them was one of our best players every time he played. It's ridiculous. How some people don't rate Mason Mount, I will never understand. I'm not saying he's the greatest player of all time, right? But not rating him is ridiculous. It quite frankly is. But Lewis, you're about. First of all, massively appreciate you hopping on just after your stream. But let's get your thoughts involved. Of course, me, Jam, and Haji already touched on whether we think we should and will stick to the 3 at the back formation tomorrow, or whether we will switch it up and go to a 4 at the back. What do you make of that one?
Zuma's definitely out for the game, right?
I think him and Havertz are meant to be back in full training today. So I guess they could be available, but maybe not ready to start. I don't know.
Because here's the thing, if Zuma's out, it's a bit of a sticky one because we only have 3 centre-backs and we're all playing them at the same time. But same way, and Sadiq touched on it as well, we could go and play, Reece James as a potential right centre-back, and we'd be able to sort that out as well. But I don't see Reece James starting this game anyway because I think we'll see a very similar lineup to the game against Burnley. Similar sort of team as well, but unlike Spurs, they haven't really got the quality either as well. Plus, with the the Barnsley game in mind on Thursday, I don't expect to see too much rotation. If any, I'd see 4 at the back if Kurt Zouma was out, because I'd understand you need to protect one of the centre-backs. Even if Reece James can be used as a right centre-back, you haven't done it yet. But there's a lot of speculation in it, because you could do it. You can't really not have an explanation for not trying something against the team that's bottom in the table. So, if you ain't going to try against this sort of team, when are you going to try it? Because every other team would probably give you a bit more of a threat. I'm not too sure because, all right, if Kurt Zuma's going to be back, I don't think we make too many changes. I think the main time we might see us go back to a back 4 is if we're playing a team that's more attacking, a team that's going to press us more, try and attack us more from the front foot. I think we're going to see the same sort of lineup that we've seen for the last few weeks, for the next few weeks as well, because we're in that period where we're facing a bunch of teams that sit deep against us. Same period that we had in October or November. And back then, the lineup didn't change that much. I don't see the lineup changing too much here either. Players will get opportunities every now and then, but there'll be a core group of players that you see staying in the lineup. And right now, The only place where I see any real chance of changes is right wing back, maybe. Maybe the front three positions. Other than that, I don't really see anything else changing. I think Jovic stays in midfield. I think Alonso stays at right wing back, and I don't think the back three changes either.
Okay, so you don't. So not just no formation changes. Also, you don't think there will be any rotation, because what we touched on is we think there will be a bit of rotation. Nothing crazy. We thought Hudson-Odoi will go back to right wing back because it's a more defense or worse team than Tottenham. We thought maybe Chilwell gets another game there, because I still believe he was not unfairly dropped, but not so much so that he needs to not play. And I don't think Alonso was good enough against Spurs to like say, "Oh, there's no chance."
I think it's unfair for the fans more than the manager, because I understand Marcos Alonso starting, but it's just the fans just switching on him and just saying, "Oh, he's a terrible left wing back. I don't know why we signed this guy. Alonso's levels clear of Chilwell." You lot deserve Alonso and Emerson back as our starting left backs for the next 4 years straight. Like, you really deserve that sort of carnage in our lineup. You want these two backs as serious options. Like, granted, Alonso had a good game against Spurs, apparently. I believe in stats and I believe in the eye test both together. They both can be legitimate points. They both can counteract each other as well. You're both going to pick whichever one suits your agenda, regardless. So I'm going to sit here and say both work. You can look at the eye test. You can look at it based off stats. Marcos Alonso had a good game statistically. I barely noticed him that match, to be honest, because we played mostly through the middle and mostly through the right-hand side. We're playing in a style of play that hides Marcos Alonso's deficiencies. And that's fine, because you get the best out of Marcos Alonso as a result. Fact is, though, a player with that many deficiencies in his game will get exposed sooner or later. And that is a fact, because he is not flawless. He is not multi-dimensional as a player. He is very one-dimensional in his abilities, very one-dimensional in what he offers to the team, as opposed to Ben Chilwell, who I understand isn't starting right now because he's not good enough based on form. His form hasn't been good enough since the turn of the year, maybe even like late December, and that's fine. I understand that. Marcos Alonso might probably play against Burnley. Against Sheffield United. Might play against Newcastle as well. Do not sit here and tell me that Marcos Alonso is the genuine answer to our questions, though. Because if you are, where were you in the summer when we were spending 50 million on a left back? Because everyone wants a left back then, but we're going to sit here and say, someone genuinely tell me how Marcos Alonso is a better left wing back. Other than form, cool. And maybe aerial ability. Other than that, maybe he finishes in space too. In space is the key word. I'm happy with the form right now. Right now, he's in good form. Don't take him out the lineup. That's what's best for the team. Don't tell me that he's the answer. He's not the answer. You're asking the wrong questions.
Yeah, let's not get into too much, Marcos Alonso slander again. Obviously, Lewis and myself have done plenty of that already. People know our opinions.
For it enough too.
Exactly. The Spurs one is a tricky one, because you can, as a fullback, play well without being like super noticeable, and he had a lot of interceptions and ball retentions or whatever the word is. So he did good in that sense, but he also stopped us building our play from the left. Of course, to some extent, that's also Tuchel's plan anyway, just as much as it was Frank's plan to some extent. Focus on the right in the build-up and the creation, and then use the left side to score. But it still hinders us. And that even against Burnley, as much as he was great and scored, we had a counter-attack. And I'm like, bruv, he's just killed it. But hey, enough about that. Yeah, like I said, I think Chile should come in. Just like play these players, you don't like that doesn't mean Alonso can't play again against Newcastle, but I don't think either one of these playing will be the reason we win or lose against Sheffield United. One thing I do have to mention though, by the way, Ethan Ampadu can't play against us, and he's been one of, if not Sheffield United's best player. So that's a positive for us in the first place. And we have 240 people watching. Big up everyone. But if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be sick. Smash the like button right now. Let me check how many we have. Let me check. 81 likes. What you doing? 240 people and only 81 likes. Go down and smash.
I swear the like to view ratio always reeks. Wherever live, it always stinks.
Yeah, exactly. It really, really does. And because they're so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, make sure to subscribe to the Chelsea Social. Their link is down in the description. And obviously, just added his link as well. Subscribe to Carefree Lewis G. Obviously, I've said this before, but just because he's already hit 20K doesn't mean you don't subscribe to him anymore. Go and subscribe to him anyway if you haven't already.
Yeah, road to 30K, man. We don't rest here. No rest.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, Justice just said Alonso won 6 aerial duels. I think he meant Alonso anyway. And Stripper said it perfectly. Smash the like button. By the way, these guys are members. That's why they have the little badge next to their name. Big up yourselves for that. If you want to become a member, click the join button underneath. But Jam, I need to hear your voice again. I need to get you involved. So, well, what I want to hear is, how do you think we should slightly adapt our forward play, our final third play, to get our players going? Because some of it is missing chances, like the Werner one where Sergio Aurier got in there, and Mason Mount having a couple of shots that maybe he should have done a little bit better with. But it's also a case that, and Thomas Tuchel said this himself after the game, he's not saying, we lack a little bit of precision and we're not quite getting the ball over the line. But his solution to that is, okay, we just have to create clearer chances that we trust for. I love from him. That's the mentality I need the manager to have. Not players do better for flip's sake. He's like, all right, I will make you create even better chances that even the worst striker in the world can't miss. And that's kind of the approach he's having right now, I think, because you can see him on the sideline getting very frustrated at some of the chances we're not taking. So how do you think we need to adapt that? And don't worry, I won't like clip this or whatever. We're still fans. We're not claiming to be coaches of the century. Just give me your thoughts on it.
Do you know what? That's a good solution. Is definitely trying to make easier chances. That is a solution, absolutely. But you know what we're missing right now? We're missing that confident attacker that knows that they can score when they get to the edge of the box. And takes it on themselves. I mean, look at Timo Werner. His first or second goal against Southampton at home, where he literally just ran across the edge of the box, but he knew he could score, so he didn't even bother passing it. That's the kind of confidence that we're missing from the front players at the moment. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where they're just a little bit selfish at the right time, but it's because they know they're bagging. That's gone. That confidence isn't there right now. So in order to fix it, I just think they need goals. I mean, I've said this about Tammy, and I've said it to Hajir as well. And I don't think he completely agrees with me, because Jay and I raised this point like a few weeks ago. But Tammy Abraham, for me, one thing I would love from him is getting to the last shoulder for crosses, for cutbacks, and he will have a tap in most of the time. But I just feel like what he does is he hangs back a little bit too long, and he always misses the cross by like this much. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but it's always this far away from the cross. So I think for Tammy, easy goals there, a bit like Giroud, because that's what Giroud's, bread and butter is. So yeah, we can make easier chances, but actually these forwards need to get, they need to do it themselves. They need to be a little bit selfish and just go, do you know what, I'm bagging here, and a little bit of quality just needs to come out. And maybe one thing that's happened to a few of them, mainly Timo Werner, is that they might be overthinking things. Playing up front, being a striker, you want to be instinctive. And I think Timo Werner definitely is overthinking everything, and it's taken him that little bit longer. And, the margins are so fine that that's when a defender gets a foot in, like Aurier, for example. So, yeah, I think once they get a goal, they'll be confident. Once the confidence is back, then they'll be bagging more chances. Make easier chances to get to that point, and then it goes on from there, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with it. It's like Jester's put in the chat as well. Not sure whether you needed the boxing analogy with it, but don't go for it so much. Like, they need to not try so hard. Sometimes that does feel a little bit like that. And someone else put a comment in there, which I thought was good, but also like depressing, really. We kind of bought Werner to stop those issues, and now he's kind of the biggest of those issues, which is like, that's not why it was meant to work. That's not why it was meant to happen. But Hajir, do you have any additional thoughts to what Jam just said, or do you disagree? Do you think there's other ways?
No, I have some thoughts, yeah.
Go on.
Every time we talk about Tammy, I have some thoughts. I always back my boy in it. So, but the thing is too, the thing is when we actually attack and we come to a situation where he can cross the ball, Tammy actually always stops because I think that he's going to square it backwards, and the ball goes to the area when it isn't. I think that Tuchel will sort that out. I think that Tuchel will say, don't ever stop again, just run at the goal. Just run and be there. Because that's a manager things too. I think the manager can help him get better at that. Because I think that it's a lack of chemistry and lack of tactics and stuff. With all due respect to Lampard, one of my favorite players ever, I think he just wasn't good enough manager. And I think that Tuchel is obviously a world-class manager, and he will sort that out, I think he will just run to the post, run to the front post, back post, whatever. Don't stop. I think that once we actually settle down and everything is spot on, I think that Tammy or team, whoever plays, will be pretty much at the goal line. And then I think Havertz, Mason Mount, whoever will be at the position Tammy now is, well, Jam don't want him to be. So I don't see a problem with that. The problem I see that then gotta be more clinical. That's the one problem I see, because we create chances. We have done it under Tuchel, but they just can't finish them. And to be fair, a lot of the chances goes to Mason Mount. And I've always said this about Mount. Mount is always a better when he plays deeper down. He always plays better deeper down. He isn't like the player you want in the final third. That is why he looks so much better when he plays at the kind of as a more free number 6 or as an 8, because he's deeper down, and that's always been the case. So I mean, to be honest, I think, as I said, the finishing will come. I'm not worried about that, and I think it's Werner too. Werner has always required many chances. I don't know what people got this from. He missed a lot of chances in Germany, but he still scored many chances. But he has always missed many chances. I don't think that people expected him to be like Haaland and score everything. It's never been like that, you know. He missed a lot of chances. So the thing is, Werner, you need to create a lot of chances for him, and he will score many goals, but he will miss many chances too.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think the issue with Werner is also, yes, he always took a few chances to score, but he still scored eventually, and that's kind of what he doesn't do for us at the moment. And I do still think that, yes, we have created chances and don't take them, so that definitely is true. But very few of them have been absolute sitters recently. Like, very few times are like, okay, you have to score that. And the closest thing to it was probably the one Werner had against Spurs. If he controls it with his left, I touched on it already, control it with your left, shoot next step, that's a sitter. Because you're right in front of the goalie. Because he took an extra step, that's what even allowed Aurier to come back into the fold and tackle him, right? But other than that, we didn't really have a sitter besides the penalty. And this is not criticism, like crazy criticism of Timo Werner. He still won us the penalty, which in the end won us the game. But I do quickly have to go back to Jam, because the guy has to head off soon. Man needs to see his girlfriend. You know, things need to happen.
It'll be done.
Exactly. So
Boris Johnson is shaking his head furiously.
Oh, don't worry about that. It's a socially distanced walk.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I'll take your word for it, my guy.
No. All we do is socially distance, bro. What you going to do about it? You even socially distance talk to each other on here, right? No. But I need your thoughts. First of all, I want the score prediction. And I want a predicted lineup. Just run me through your predicted 11 quickly. And then your score prediction. And then obviously you can head off and massively appreciate you coming on.
Nice one. So if I start with the 11, it's going to be Mendy, Azpilicueta, Christensen, and Rudiger. Then right wing back's going to be, I see Cho playing there actually. Jovicic, centre mid. Left wing back, I'm going to go for Chilwell. Bit of a spanner in the works here. Christensen, Mount, and Tammy up front. That's what I would go with. It's kind of a mix. Yeah, that's exactly what I'd go with. That's my preferred starting team, actually. I don't know what Tuchel's going to do. It's hard to guess, isn't it? But, yeah, so in terms of score, I reckon Chelsea win 2-0. It will be a tough affair. An early goal would always help, but I don't see us scoring until probably around half-time. Sheffield United are going to be quite well set up, drilled and resolute. And then inevitably when they start to, come forward a little bit, come out of their shell, then we'll get a second goal and that'll be game over. Another clean sheet. And, we'll be looking at the top 4 race again, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, bloody hopefully. At the end of the day, what matters most is that we get the dub, right? But it would be nice if it would just be great, because I think the team, okay, the win against the top 6 team was great, but we haven't won comfortably in too long. Okay, Burnley was comfortable, but because the second goal came late, it wasn't as comfortable as it should have been and would have been. And that's what we need. So I would love a bit of a battering. I don't really see it happening, but I would love it. And I just need a couple of goals from the forwards. I think for them, for the team, it's just exactly what we need. But Jam, massively appreciate you coming on. Definitely won't be the only time and the last time. So he will definitely be back on. I think I'm actually joining you before the game tomorrow with Jay.
Yes, you are.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well,
so catch me over there.
Watch along.
Sorry?
What's that?
You're the guest for their watch along tomorrow.
Now, for half an hour before kickoff, I'm joining
Jeez, love that.
Exactly. So
we'll get you on serious as well.
Come on, G.
Exactly. And to catch that, be sure to subscribe to them. Their link is down in the description, the Chelsea Social. Help them reach 1,000 subscribers. Maybe you have helped them already. I don't know. But if you haven't, go down below and subscribe. You know, they're not even 50 off, I think. So there's 250 of you watching. So we can get there right now. So just go down below, subscribe to them right now, and everything's sorted. But Jam, like I said, thank you for coming on. And I'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
Bless, boys. Up the Chels. Thanks for having me. Have a good evening, yeah?
Take care, guys.
Exactly. So, Hajir, after all of this, why don't you tell me who you think not only should start tomorrow, because obviously we touched on that already. You talked about Tammy Abraham and whatever else. But who do you think, before we even get to any scorelines, who do you think is most likely for us to score tomorrow?
For us?
Yeah, for us. Well, let's not assume that Sheffield United will get
Laurenz, that's such a hard question because our strikers just don't score. And it's about time. We play Atletico soon, you know. And we need to have our shooting boots on for that, because they won't give you chances. You will have your 1 to 3 chances. If you can't score, then it's back to not even Europa League, you know. Then it's back to nothing basically. So we need to start converting. So whoever starts up front tomorrow, even I don't know if it's Giroud, Tammy, or Werner, one of them is gonna score. And I'll set a 3-0 win. Yeah, that's my prediction. I know I'm a bit optimistic, but yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan and I expect big things. So yeah, we move, I guess. And I think that Mason Mount is going to bag one. And I think that Alonso may actually bag one tomorrow again. He's just inevitable, isn't he? So that's them three. Whoever starts up front, Mason and Alonso.
Fair. Lewis, what about yourself? First of all, who do you think is most likely to score? And why don't you run me through the team that you would like to see? Not necessarily what you want Tuchel to play, but what would you like to see? Presuming that Kai Havertz and Zuma are back, but not fit to start, so will probably be on the bench.
I would like to see... Okay, I'll go first goal scorer first. That's the harder question because God knows with this team, you never know. Like, it could be Edouard Mendy for all we know. Last minute corner or some BS. I'm gonna go Timo Werner because if it's not the bottom team in the league that he scores against, God knows who else, but it needs to be somebody. I think for the formation, back three will stay the same. Like we'll see Mendy, we'll see Christensen, Rudiger, Azpilicueta as the back three. We'll see Jovic stay as per usual. Marcus Alonso on the left-hand side. Even though I would prefer Ben Chilwell because I don't think he's got given a fair crack here right now. He had the first start under, what's his name? Thomas Tuchel, 24 hours in. His form still wasn't good enough, but I'd give him another run in anyway because I don't think he should be judged based off those 90 minutes. Up front, though, should we go Havertz? Havertz, Ziyech, and Werner? No. Havertz, Hudson-Odoi, Werner, because Hudson-Odoi can't get benched from this lineup regardless. Yeah, no. Hudson-Odoi is going to play right wing back, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi will play right wing back. So Ziyech, Havertz, Werner, potentially in the middle. I'd go for that. Yeah.
Fair. That's good. And you actually gave me a little bit of an idea. Why don't we do a bit of a Chelsea score predictor? You know, the play predictor thing, whatever they do. You know, you get the first goal scorer and you get the rough minute and the pole possession and the shots. Why don't we do a little bit of that? I think that's a good idea. And because we have a new guest on the channel, it's all going up crazy over here. But of course, a lot of you guys will know Vitmus. He's, of course, a regular on Lewis's channel. So Vitmus, and of course, has his own channel. I will link that down below. Vitmus, bro, first of all, welcome. Secondly, how are you? And thirdly, what do you see? How do you see tomorrow's game going? And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything that you want to add in the chat, because we have 4 people here, I can't see every single chat message. Don't hesitate to use the super chat function. Hey, it don't have to be a lot, right? But it stands out. Otherwise, I won't see it, right? Do you know what I mean? But Vitmus, hit me.
Firstly, I'm okay. Thanks for having me on. It's a massive love, respect for letting me on, man. I appreciate that. I see tomorrow game going definitely Chelsea's way, not because I'm a Chelsea fan, but based on the way we have been playing since the arrival of Thomas Tuchel, I can definitely assure you that we'll definitely win the game tomorrow. It might not be a pretty winning, like, you know, dominate and score like 3-4 goals. I heard you said it a minute ago. You want to have like, you want to like score like 4 or 5 goals at Sheffield, but I think it would be like maybe it's 1-0 or a 2-0 victory for us, because Sheffield are going to defend well. And as we know, they've won their last 2 games. So it's going to take a hell of a performance from the guys in blue to actually break down the Sheffield team tomorrow and take 3 points, which we will, but it won't be easy.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I think you summarized that very well. So why don't you tell me who you think will be the first goal scorer?
Well, I was on Lewis's channel earlier. I think I've said that Mason Mount double. So I think Mason Mount will score. He always pops up with a goal or 2 sometimes. So I think he'll be our goal scorer, the first goal scorer in the game.
Fair, fair. Haji, what about yourself? What do you think? Who do you think will be our first goal scorer?
I need to back my boy, Tammy. Yeah, he's gonna score the first, and he loves the goal against Sheffield United too. You know.
He does.
So yeah, Tammy. Yeah, Tammy.
No, that is very, very fair. And obviously, there's no point like trying to name the goal, the minute in which we'll score. But I do want to see kind of what you think, because obviously Sheffield United is a very defensive team, and even against bloody Spurs, okay, they're very defensive. Well, can Sheffield United even be more defensive than Tottenham were in the first half? Maybe that ain't even possible. But where do you think the possession will lie? Do you think it will be more like around the 70%, 65%, 60%? What do you think, Lewis?
Possession 65, 70. 70 more 80, actually, the more I think about knowing us. I don't expect Sheffield United to do too much on the ball. I expect it to just be the same sort of game we saw against Burnley. Just don't give them a set piece, because we ain't got Kurt Zuma. They really like set pieces, and our aerial ability has been in the mud ever since, what's his name? Kurt Zuma's gone out injured.
That is not wrong. That is not wrong. I mean, Jester's bloody saying 85%. I'm not quite sure about that one, you know. But hey, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. What I just really want to see from the game is not just, you know, play well and control the game. Of course, we want to see that, and you know, we have the advantage of Ethan Ampadu not being able to play. But I just want to see fluidity in the final thirds, and I want, because we had good movement against Spurs, but the final pass just wasn't quite there whenever it was necessary. Whether it was the Werner runway kind of blocked Kovacic off of either shooting or passing, whether it was Mount and Werner always finding each other in the perfect spot. I'm not saying never. You know, obviously the good chance that Mount had was set up by Werner, and the good chance that Werner had was set up by Mount. You know, there is still positives happening, but we just need to get them happening more regularly and like every game and whatever. And that's kind of where we need to get to. And I think that's why, as much as I put in the title, Tuchel has to get these guys scoring. You know, it's a YouTube title, right? At the end of the day, he has to. This doesn't actually mean tomorrow, right? I mean, ideally, yes, but eventually he has to. That's, in my opinion, his next biggest task. Of course, keep clean sheets, you know, keep winning, build on the momentum. And then once we get to the big games, ideally have these guys, you know, firing. Because if none of our forwards are still in scoring form, we're not going to beat the likes of Man United, Liverpool, and Atletico Madrid. It ain't going to happen. And by the way, who the hell knows how we're going to play against Atletico Madrid anyway? Will we play in Madrid? Will we play in London? Will it be 1 tie? Will it be 2 ties? Who the hell knows at this point, right? You know, things going crazy. At this point, I'm thinking, are they going to just do a Champions League tournament again after the Euros or whatever? Because it's going crazy. It's going to be crazy. But I just, you know, we've been going for an hour. Of course, Vitmus has just joined us. So why don't you tell me, first of all, your kind of rough summary quickly of the last couple of weeks under Thomas Tuchel, or the last week, I guess, and also what you expect of him and what you expect of the team tomorrow, other than obviously the first goal scorer, which we touched on already.
Well, it has to be all good coming from, if we're looking at it from our farm since Tuchel has taken over. It has been very good. I mean, we can see a lot of smiles back on the boys' face since Tuchel has arrived. I mean, it's sad that Frank had to go to give us this smile, but I mean, we're Chelsea and we have to be who we are for the last 2 decades. Or we have been winning trophies like this. This is how we win trophies, man. If it's not working, we have to change something, and it works in our favor like 9 out of 10. So for Tuchel, he's doing very, very good, and I'm loving it, man. I'm really, really loving it, and it's nice to watch Chelsea play some football again, man. So we have to give Tuchel the praise. Not too much, but enough because of the work he has done with the players in just a week. So I'm happy with the form and the performance of the team, and it can only get better if we can keep it like this going forward. I can see Tuchel winning at least a trophy, maybe the FA Cup or something. We never know at the end of this season. So for me, all good. Loving it with Thomas Tuchel.
Brilliant. And what about tomorrow? What do you expect from tomorrow, and what would you like to see tomorrow, I guess?
Well, tomorrow, I just want to see a Chelsea win. It doesn't matter if it's ugly or pretty. We just want to continue this form and try to at least get closer to the top 4, because this is a perfect opportunity as the teams in front of us are starting to drop points like for the last 2 weeks or at least a week and a half of this football madness. The teams ahead of us have been dropping crazy points, and good for Chelsea as we don't always capitalize on when teams ahead of us dropping points. This season under Tuchel, we have been capitalizing. We're edging closer and closer back to the top 4. A few months ago, maybe a month ago, we were saying Europa League, but I think most Chelsea fans can sniff the Champions League spot again for this season. So I think we're going forward, man. We're making moves, and it can only get better.
I agree. And actually, I guess let's touch on that, because as much as we talk about Chelsea, before we round this out, and by the way, guys, we have still 230 people watching. Smash the bloody like button. I want 150 likes right now. And if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. But I do want to touch on that. Liverpool dropping so many points. It's in 2 games back-to-back at home. You know, obviously, Arsenal, they're never quite up there, but they kind of found their form again. And now they're kind of like bottling it again, where it's Spurs that had 3 losses in a row for the first time in, I think, Jose Mourinho's career, and 2 back-to-back home losses for Jose Mourinho for the first time in his career. Crazy things going on. And, you know, even Leicester are not always 100%. I think they dropped points last week. Manchester United obviously dropping points. Just Man City just keep running away now. I think they're going to run away with it at this point. But Haji, what did you make of everyone else dropping points? Is this just because it's this crazy season that obviously everyone always talks about? Which I'm like, yeah, it is a crazy season, but it's also the big teams always play every 3 days, regardless of what season we're in. Kind of. Do you know what I mean? So I'm never 100% sure what I believe in this. Obviously, everything's a bit more strenuous with all of the testing, and you know, no fans obviously gives you less of a boost. But what did you make of so many teams dropping so many points recently, which obviously is the main reason why we're so close now? I mean, obviously, Man City and Liverpool face each other tomorrow before we play. So one of them will lose points. In my opinion, hopefully it's Liverpool. If City win, we could tomorrow go within 1 point of Liverpool, and that is ridiculous. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, our task this season was, we were told, get closer to the champions. I mean, we're very bloody close. What do you make of that?
I mean, this is the thing, yeah. City are going to run away with the league. They're going to win tomorrow. Their defense is way too good to score against. I don't know how Hutchinson managed to score against them, so that's a positive, you know. But then you have Leicester United, and look, I'm going to look at those 3 teams, because United, Leicester, and Liverpool, because we want to get top 4, and I think that we can get top 4. This is the thing, yeah. Every time you get the manager, you get this honeymoon period when you just keep winning games, and that's good. But when I think about it, for us, you know, we haven't even properly come into that period yet, because our strikers haven't been firing yet. When our strikers start firing, we will be even better, you know. It will be even better, even though and this is the thing, yeah, this season is so crazy, so it might as well be the goal difference that make the difference. And I think that once our strikers start firing, we're going to score many goals, and Tuchel is going to take us to the top 4. Because look at Liverpool are vulnerable, you know. Look, they are vulnerable. Salah and Mane aren't playing as good. And by the way, I don't want to see people compare Salah to Hazard. Honestly, I don't want to see it. There's a disrespect to Eden Hazard. Honestly, I don't want to see that yet. And even Mane isn't being in the greatest form. I know Diego Costa was good. He got injured. Van Dijk isn't there. Trent is nowhere near Reece James, by the way. Let's get that in as well. He just, this is the thing with Trent. When he can't cross, he isn't all that. Reece James is just so much more. And their defense isn't looking good. And I know that they have signed some new defenders, but it's hard for a youngster to come to Premier League season, right, just in the middle of season, and then improve a team massively. I mean, that Van Dijk kind of did that, but he was pretty much in his prime when he did that. So those teams will keep losing points. I think Leicester will be inconsistent. They lost 3-1 to Leeds. I think that will happen from time to time for Leicester, where we drop points. And United's manager just isn't good enough. Like, they literally rely on individual quality way too much. I hope it doesn't reach Twitter, but yeah. I think they just rely on so much individual quality. And we have a proper manager now. A proper manager that I think he's probably top 5 managers in the world, right? He's up there at least. People told me that he failed at PSG. He got to a Champions League final where he lost because Mbappe and Neymar pretty much let him down. Let's be real. He should have scored. He should have won that final. And the thing is, he is so much better. I rate Brendan Rodgers, but Tuchel is so much better. We have a better squad than Leicester. They are inconsistent. We are just going to start gain form. I don't know how big of an impact Thiago Silva have actually, because people told me that our defensive structure looks so much better this season because of the fact that he has come in. I don't know. This is the test. This is the test. Yeah. If we can defend like we have been done in the last couple of games without Thiago Silva, then that's a positive. We can't see any individual mistakes from the defenders either. I know that Lewis. I don't know why he tweets this Christensen propaganda every single day. I don't know, every time I wake up in the morning.
You already know, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I just see the capital letters Christensen propaganda, and I mean, this is the thing. I don't rate him like that, but if he can perform, please perform. Show me wrong, because I want to get top 4. And Liverpool, United, and Leicester will lose points. Of course, City will drop points sometime, but they're gonna run away with it. But if we can keep consistency, we're going to get top 4 because they won't be that consistent. Like you look at United, Bruno hasn't been firing lately. Fortunately for them, Pogba has. But if he doesn't do that, and we know Martial has pretty much been trashed this season, and Bruno doesn't do that either, they will struggle to score goals, and they will drop points, and we can capitalize on that, So yeah, I mean, we just need to be consistent to achieve top 4.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. And by the way, we did have a super chat from Stripbed a minute ago. Didn't really understand what you were trying to tell me with it, but I appreciate the donation. I appreciate the donation. And Lewis, just quickly, if you want to tell me, what did you make of the whole, just everyone dropping points? It is crazy, isn't it? Like, obviously, we're capitalizing on it, and we need to bloody capitalize on it. And I'm very confident that we will get top 4. As much as people talk about, if teams behind us win their games, we're only 9th. Yeah, I don't care. But we'll just keep winning now. And then that doesn't matter, and we'll finish ahead of them anyway. But what do you make of that before, obviously, and that will be the last point, then we'll go to score predictions and leave it at that.
Thoughts on teams dropping points around us?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this is why I'm thinking higher than top 4, to be honest. Obviously, I'm taking it a game at a time, and I'm not letting my thoughts get too ahead of myself, but there's no reason to think that anything isn't up for grabs this season, and consistency will take you so far. We will be 2 wins off breaking into the top 4, and we have Sheffield United and Newcastle next. Liverpool have Man City and Leicester City next. Now, it wouldn't be hard to think that they'll drop points in both games, and we only need them to drop 4 points, and we're back into the top 4. Now, suddenly, 3 wins on the bounce has taken us from mid-table to back into the top 4 with about 15 games left of the season. You trying to tell me we can't think higher than that? That's the thing. Like, obviously, take it slowly. Don't get too ahead of yourself and say, yes, we won 2 games, we're going to win the league. No. Where will we be in a month's time? That's the real question. And if we're in a month's time, we're still in this position, we've actually beaten a couple decent teams on the run to it as well, then there's no reason to not start thinking about higher up, or maybe second, or maybe higher than second. Obviously, game at a time, but
you're getting ahead of yourself again, bro.
No, game at a time. I'll say it throughout that. But consistency is so key in this season. If you can master that, anything is possible. Anything is possible, and that is something I will say with my chest.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And at this point, if teams keep dropping points like that, bloody second is not that unrealistic. I do think City will run away with it unless they pick up bad injuries. But considering they've been there where they are and don't even have Aguero fit pretty much all season, it's kind of a testament to them and how good they've been, and in particular, probably Ilkay bloody Gundogan, who a lot of Premier League fans, I think, never really rated that highly. But if you watch him in the Bundesliga, you know he's an absolute baller. But I think, we've been going for 1 hour and 11 minutes already. So why don't we get to some score predictions to leave this, to end this out, see this out, whatever you want to call it. Vitmus, why don't you go first? What do you think the score will be tomorrow? Obviously, you're touching it already. You don't think it will be a crazy game where we batter teams or whatever. But still, what is your final score prediction, I guess?
I just want to add something before I get there. Just a quick minute or maybe a few seconds. With the way the title has been, teams dropping points, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but looking at Manchester City, even though there are 13 wins in a row so far, I think tomorrow, if Liverpool can beat them and slow them down, I think this is going to be one of the most craziest Premier League seasons we have ever witnessed in our decade of watching football or watching the Premier League. Because
if they lose tomorrow, true, bro.
Because look at how it has been. We even the bottom half of the table, the relegation battle, it's going. It looks like we can't put a finger on it and definitely say some of these teams are going down because they're fighting, and at the top of the table, I don't see Manchester United finishing in the top 4. If Chelsea continue on this form, if Liverpool pick forms again, trust me, it's Manchester United might just make 4th if we continue. Because I'm not gonna rule Liverpool out of his top 4. No matter how awful they are right now, I think they will do enough to get in the top 4. But of course, Manchester City are the favorites to win this title. Just on the fact that they are leading and they have like 13 wins on the bounce. But we must remember that they started the season bad also. So it's not impossible that they can't lose or drop more points, and that would be good for Chelsea. And to my score prediction, I said I'm going for 2-0 Mason Mount double. I said it.
Fair play. Fair bloody play. Haji, before we end it off here, your score prediction and any other additional thoughts, of course. Add anything you want, bro.
No, this is the thing, yeah. I don't want to be like everybody else and just say the safe thing. I'm going with 3-0, Chelsea are back. Hopefully it doesn't backfire. Chelsea are back. Now we have a world-class manager and we have a really good squad. We just need some more players and we're going for the Champions League next season. We're truly back. That is why rival fans are crying, Arsenal can't chat us anymore. I just want to get that in as well, And about this is a complete out of topic, but I just saw it in Twitter, so I wanted to touch on it. About Arteta winning the Lampard debate, just a no. If anything, it just shows that our clubs want to be successful and yours doesn't, because you went 10 games without a win and he was still your manager. So yeah, I just want to get that in as well. But I'm saying 3-0. It's about time we start scoring some goals. It's got to be 3-0, and it's a perfect team as well. We score 3 tomorrow. We start a little bit against Barnsley on Thursday, and then we're back.
I bloody hope so, bro. Bloody hope so. Lewis, what about yourself? What is your score prediction ahead of tomorrow's game?
I'm going to go 3-0 Chelsea and just Timo Werner to hopefully score at any point because just need a Werner goal. But yeah, 3-0 Chelsea. This has got to be one of those where we're just calm. We go in there, we take our W and we leave. Straightforward.
Yeah, I bloody hope so. I would be very inclined to back Haji's prediction of a 3-1. I wouldn't even be crazy far away of going for the same result as we had at the Bridge against them, obviously under Lampard, for a 4-1. I wouldn't be totally surprised at that. If Tuchel feels all right, we've had the solid stuff now, let's go a bit more crazy. Whether that means changing the system or not, I don't know. But being even more aggressive and maybe opening us up a little bit more, which ends up in us conceding or conceding from a set piece. It has to happen. No matter how good you are defensively, you will concede a goal every now and again. And the way Chelsea go, it's usually against the teams you least expect us to score. That's just what happens. So I wouldn't even be. I'm gonna say 3-1, but I'm not gonna be surprised if it's 4-1. And hey, these 4 might be 4 defenders and midfielders scoring, and still no forwards. But I feel like we'll get some goals. Hey, let me be gassed. Let me be hyped. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? But ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I really do appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in today. I don't know how many likes we're on right now. We are on 142 likes. So that means still not 150. So everyone that is here right now and hasn't clicked the like button yet, And even if you don't have a Google account, I'm going to let you off right now. But by next time, you better have a Google account. But everyone that is here and has a Google account, go and smash the like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to Vitmus. Subscribe to the Chelsea Social. Help them reach not 100,000. I mean, why not do that? But 1,000. Let's start with that. And Lewis, help him. Just get more subs. 30k, road to 50k.
Road to 30k. We move. Let's join the ride.
Bro, we're on all of the roads. Road 66, if you want to bloody call it that. I don't care. But ladies and gentlemen, I really do appreciate all of you for jumping on, as well as Jam earlier, of course. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chels. Very excited for tomorrow's game. Hopefully we get the dub. Hopefully we get some goals. Hopefully our forwards get some goals. But yeah, to be honest, guys, that has been it from us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And wait, I need to get rid of this comment. Otherwise, I can't add the end screen. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chels, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, man. Good.